with that out of the way, let's go ahead, get into this first segment, which is talking about the the NFL Coaching Carousel. So we already discussed some of the coaches that were, we already discussed some of the, one of the coaches that was already off the board and one of the teams that were already off the board in their decision. We know that Mike Vrabel ended up getting hired on Sunday, so it still leaves the Jets, Bears, Raiders, Saints, and Jaguars still interviewing coaches, and also the Dallas Cowboys, who will remain interviewing coaches. And whether or not the Jets, the Bears, the Raiders, the Saints, or the Jaguars are going to be interviewing Mike McCarthy is still unclear. I would imagine that the Bears would want to follow suit with their attempted interview with Mike McCarthy, since in the beginning the Dallas Cowboys ultimately denied them for basically no reason. And we'll see if they ultimately make their decision to get McCarthy as the head coach for Caleb Williams. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to come up with a deal for that. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be successful, if McCarthy even wants to be a coach for the Bears. But in terms of Cowboy talk, on Monday night, Jerry Jones reportedly said he had spoken with Colorado coach Deion Sanders about the position, about how it's available, and whether or not he would take that. Obviously, we still haven't heard anything from Deion about whether or not he wants to coach with Dallas, but I've said that I would much rather him continue coaching on Colorado. I think it would be much more beneficial for him and for the program, as opposed to him making a jump to the NFL, because similar to how it started in college, we were not really sure whether or not Buffalo, the Colorado Buffaloes would have been able to make any sort of noise during the regular season, or if they would surprise anyone. But ultimately, they did. You could argue that was mainly because he had some ridiculous talented players like Shador and Travis Hunter. Those two guys are just unbelievable, especially Travis. But we'll see how it goes, assuming he doesn't take the Dallas head coaching position and decides to stay on Buffalo. But if Deion doesn't land, then they have other options. They recently scheduled, as I said before in the last segment, they scheduled an interview with former Jets head coach Robert Saleh, and they've also scheduled an interview with Eagles coordinator Kellen Moore. Now, it was just speculation that he would end up being one of the candidates for the head coaching vacancy in Dallas, but now it's sort of been confirmed that they're going to set up an interview with Kellen Moore. Obviously, Kellen Moore and Deion Sanders, they have been related with the Dallas Cowboys for quite some time. I believe Kellen Moore actually played for Dallas when he was a player in the NFL, so that might be where the connection all starts. But regardless, he's an interconference coach. Well, a divisional coach. Excuse me. He coaches in the same division as the Dallas Cowboys coach in. Whether or not he's going to decide to join the Dallas Cowboys and be their head coach is still a little bit unclear. And I think it's really going to be determined on how much success the Eagles have in the postseason. Like, if they make it to the Super Bowl and they're able to actually make it competitive, I think that eventually Kellen Moore is going to decide to stay with Philly as opposed to going to Dallas, because, I mean, it's between staying on a team that's good enough to make the Super Bowl or trying to build up a team that you were trying to beat to eventually take them to the Super Bowl. It's like one is more difficult than the other, and right now it doesn't seem like the Cowboys head coaching spot is really a popular position. And a lot of people, they would rather see Deion in this position, because it would take a lot of I heard this interesting take from one of their fans. He believed that if Dion were to be the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, it would take off a lot of pressure from Dak Prescott, because the media would be much quicker and much more on top of Deion Sanders as opposed to being on Dak Prescott. Granted, it doesn't matter what position you play. If you're on Dallas, every time you mess up, the entire media is going to be on top of you for it. And especially, like, you know, if you lose, then the media is going to blame you regardless. But there's a good chance that more blame would fall onto the head coach and Deion Sanders, because that name attracts way more people and attracts a much bigger audience, as opposed to Dak Prescott being the reason why you lost the game. Because Dak Prescott losing the game, that never gets old. That's something that is always going to be constant no matter what team Dak Prescott is going to be on. And the fact that it's on Dallas is just amplified a little bit more, especially now that he is the most paid quarterback in the NFL. So all of that attention that was on him in this season would most likely shift over to Deion Sanders, because Deion gets way more clicks. He's just a much more popular person in the football world, much more popular to talk about. For as popular Dak Prescott is, Deion is way more popular. I mean, all it took was Colorado to win 4 games last season, and they were already ranked and they were already making headlines. And the fact that they were able to continue on and win in this season, appear in a bowl game, it's just, you know, even more talking through the media, even more recognition. And whether it's because Deion coached fantastic players like Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders, it doesn't necessarily matter. These guys have been gaining a lot of attention. A big reason why Buffalo ended up capitalizing on the transfer portal is because of their coach, as well as the amount of NIL money that they're able to accumulate based off of their name, their image, their likeness, and the fact that they play for Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, whatever you want to call it. So that's one theory. Let me know in the comments if you guys would rather like to see Deion Sanders be the coach for the Dallas Cowboys, or maybe you would like to see Kellen Moore be the coach. Again, either or would help the Cowboys drastically, but that's all that I have in this first segment. So now we're going to go into this second segment where I talk about the NFL looking towards an 18-game regular season. So I'll give the details on that right after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody